What's up, everybody, and welcome to the NFL Showdown pre-lock show for Thursday Night Football. I'm your host, Chuck, joined today by TJ Zwarych. We're going to walk you through this Denver Chargers football game here. We got about 57 minutes till kickoff. We'll stick around here till about 30 minutes till. We'll give you the Plums play of the night. We'll walk through some SimLabs, some player props. Just play around with those. Bring in TJ, and how's it going over there, TJ?
Doing well. Long day of content today, so I'm really looking forward to just sitting back, crawling into bed, watching some football, watching some basketball, relaxing. I do have a nice big TV downstairs, but I typically like to just watch the game in my big king size bed as opposed to downstairs. I'm a bed guy.
Okay. Oh, you're a bed guy. I don't like the bed TV stuff. I don't know. I like that's my sleeping place. I want to sleep there. I don't want to do nothing else there. I don't want to watch no TV. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do anything else in bed. I want to go to sleep there. But on the other hand, my big 85-inch in the living room now. I can get behind a little watch. But I'm with you though, man. It's been a long day. Lots of stuff going on. Double shows, triple content. Going to be nice to kick off this football game and watch some NBA and some NFL. So we have what you call, I don't want to say it's a snoozer. It's not like a sexy game on paper, but it's two really good teams going at it, and there's playoff stuff involved. It just doesn't, like, the offensive games here don't have you hyped for this game. But looking at Chargers, Broncos, give me your 10,000-foot overview here of this game.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a pretty low-scoring outing to fairly good, okay, average to maybe a little above average offenses against two very good defenses. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I am weirdly on the kickers in this one. I'm getting to a lot of the kickers in this game. I think defenses are viable. Each team has one receiver I really like, and then after that is just kind of don't know if I need to get there. So it's like you said, not very sexy. It's not boring by any means. Playoff implications, two good teams, but from a DFS perspective, not necessarily the most fun.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed. Was DFS wise doesn't look particularly appealing. It really doesn't. I have a hard time figuring out, doing the survey today, well, what's your favorite game script, or who do you like most in the captain? Who you like this and that? Man, I don't know. Like, it's just tough to figure out. But I do know that we're probably going to get a pretty good, well-played game, competitive. I don't see a blowout at it, And at the end of the day, this means something for both of these teams for the postseason. So it's weird like that, man, to not be as excited. But we're going to get to see some good quarterback play. I think we got a rookie, Bo Nix. Interested to see him on an island game here. If you haven't seen him, he's an interesting piece, man. He can run the ball. He's got some skill set. I don't know. His game is oddly, and I don't want to throw it out there because they're both Sean Payton guys, but he's got a little Drew Brees in him. Like, he can check it down and just make the good decisions. He's really smart with it. He's a little bit more mobile than Brees, so you got that going for you. And I'm personally just a big fan of Justin Herbert, man. I was so wrong on him coming out of college. He's a good quarterback. I just think he's gone through his NFL career, and he's always been given some pretty bad breaks here. Either it's been terrible coaches in the past that drove him down, or now he's dealing with, like, some really suspect wide receivers he's got to try to throw to. I think in real life, he's a really good quarterback, and we'll figure it out. But, guys, as always, we're driven by the chat. We'd love to answer your questions, get them in so we can get to them, and we'll answer every single one of them as they come across. I'm in the YouTube chat myself. I'm sure TJ's got an eye on the Discord chat, but whatever you got, man. In the meantime, let me give you a little plug here, a little RG combo plug. DFS is all about value. This is the busiest time in the sports calendar, which means it's perfect time to sign up for RG combo. For a limited time, get your first month of combo access for $79.99. It's just $5 more than the NBA premium. It's a great value. the thing says it's the busiest time of the year. We got NBA, we got NFL, we got Saturday coming up in college football, Saturday in pro football, we got Sunday in pro football. Lots of stuff going on, man. So if you want to tap into all that stuff, this is a way to do it. So Zach is in chat. He says, "Is Nick's viable MVP on FanDuel?" Yeah, I think you're on mute, man.
I have this chair. I'm waiting for a new chair to come in, and this one is so creaky, and so I try and mute whenever I'm not talking, so I'm not bothering people's ears. But forgot to unmute 2 shows in a row now. Yeah, Bo Nick's very viable. I think he's probably pretty close to the optimal MVP on FanDuel. Like if you're trying to just play, I'm not worried about ownership. I want to get to as many. I want to get as many points as I can. I want to min cash. I want to double up. Then I feel like Nick's is probably the optimal captain for that spot.
Matt has a statement or a question. He says, is this a breakout game? We did get the news earlier that the Denver's backfield is going to be missing some pieces tonight. What do you think about Estime as a breakout game?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. The one thing I worry about with Estime is he's not a pass catching back at all. Javonte Williams is still, as bad as he's looked this year, he's still going to be the guy catching passes. And so I do think I prefer Williams a little bit to Estime. But if this ends up in a game script that Denver gets playing from ahead and Estime is playing well, he could have an absolutely huge game for his price tag. I think he probably has like the highest potential ceiling point per dollar wise on the slate. I just don't know that he gets there because he's going to be very game script dependent. And so I think Estime can get there for sure, but I think you want to build for Denver to be ahead in that case.
Yeah, that is a specific game script. Estime doesn't catch passes, and he is kind of a one-trick pony. I think he's probably better suited for FanDuel because of possible touchdown upside. But you never know, though. Who knows how it's going to play out? Christopher says defense takes down the slate. I wouldn't doubt it. Who knows, man? These are 2 rock-solid defenses. You just never know. So, how are you on defenses tonight? You like?
I think they're fine if you land on them, but I drastically prefer the kickers. I'm not actively targeting the defense. I think the Denver does a really good job of controlling the ball, slowing down the game. Apologies for the dog barking. And then the Chargers just don't really turn it over. Like Justin Herbert doesn't throw interceptions. Yeah. And so I am worried about the ceiling a little bit just because I don't think it's going to be a very sloppy game. But they do probably have pretty good floors because I don't think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game either. So I'm fine to land on them in that range. I do prefer the kickers though. And Estime for what it's worth.
Yeah. Donnie says, does Hurst being activated hurt Smart? Stone Smart was one of my favorite plays. The Hurst news, probably, what do you think about Hurst being activated?
Yeah, I think I don't know it for sure hurt Smart, but it definitely has the potential to. Now, Hurst started the season, I think, as the potential tight end one for this team, and Disley looked better, and Smart has looked better at times. When Smart has filled in here, he's looked pretty good. So they could easily just say, no, Smart's the number one in this situation. Hurst, go in there. You're a blocking guy. If we need you, you're a veteran. You know what to do. I could still see Smart having a full hold on the tight end one, but the potential is absolutely there for them to split reps. So I don't know for sure that it hurts Smart, but it certainly has the potential to. He's nowhere near as safe as he was before.
He's looked really good in his role. And so that does kind of stink because you just never, they might have the thing where, it's the veteran. Let's get the veteran in there. We trust him more. And Smart could lose some snaps to the veteran. Chris, what's up? Appreciate you joining in here. Spencer says, any favorite picks or player props for tonight? Yes, Spencer, but we're going to get to those later. We'll do our Splash Sports player props later. Tune in for that one. Anybody watching the Pitt Louisville volleyball semifinal? No, but sometimes I'm scoping out the channels and just cruising through, and I'll see some college volleyball, women's college volleyball.
Don't let me hear you say that.
I gotta stop. My first instinct is to stop and watch for 2 minutes. I don't know why. It just, call me crazy.
Don't let Dean hear you say that you've been channel surfing. He won't let that slide.
I know, man. Dean don't know. Dean don't know how to really live life. He's stuck in on Netflix. I can't be on Netflix 24/7. I don't get that. That's not the life for me. Humphrey tonight. What do you think about Humphrey tonight?
I'm not getting the very much Humphrey myself, but I think he is viable as a super cheap salary saver. I wouldn't be looking to go there on FanDuel because I don't think you really need his salary down there. But on DraftKings, if you need somebody who's 1K, he would be my preferred option. I think I like him a little bit better than Darius Davis. So like I don't love Humphrey. I don't think he's going to get a ton of snaps. But nobody gets a ton of snaps all the way down there at $1,000. So I think he is viable on DraftKings as a full-out punt. I think he has a better chance of getting there than Lucas Krull, Hassan Haskins, Darius Davis, Tucker Fisk, Michael Burton. He's the best option of all of them. But I don't think you're likely looking at more than one or two catches. You're just hoping he breaks a long one.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you get $1,000 guy, you just, it is what it is. You're expecting whatever. Let's talk about some running backs real quick from tonight. We already talked a little bit about the Denver side. We talked about Estime, but we didn't talk about Javonte, the McLaughlin being out tonight. How much are you boosting up Javonte Williams?
A lot. He's looked terrible all season long, but he's just looked bad. But especially on a site like DraftKings, where it's point per reception, he is going to be the receiving back for them. He's not priced like a RB1, and he's probably going to get RB1 touches. Now, if Estime gets hot and they get the lead, that is the route to him failing. But I look at most of my lineups, and I feel like I probably want one of the two of them.
Yeah. He hasn't looked particularly good since his knee surgery, to be honest with you. And so it's a little bit rough. Now let's flip onto the other game there. Gus Edwards, Vidal, your two main running backs for the Chargers. Every once in a while, Hassan Haskins sneaks in a goal line carry for 1,400. You never know. But I want to talk about Gus and Vidal. Gus is the veteran, but man, does he look? He looks a bit rough around the just kind of what you would expect him to look like at this stage of his career. And here you got this rookie who's got some spark in him, but they just won't give him a chance. Are you leaning one of these guys? Neither of these guys? You think this could be the Vidal breakout game?
I don't think this could be the Vidal breakout game, but I do think that is where the upside lies. So from a DFS perspective, I would rather go Vidal than Gus Edwards in a lineup where I'm trying to get a little sneaky. So I'd rather play things pretty close to optimally and then go Vidal instead of Gus Edwards, and that's how I'd look to play things. I do think I have one. I'm playing 20 lineups tonight. I do think I have one Vidal captain lineup. I think I have one Gus Edwards captain lineup, just in case one of these guys takes control of the backfield. But if we're being completely honest, I think the most likely scenario, one gets 8 rushes for 32 yards. The other gets 6 rushes for 26 yards, and that's about it today.
And the difference between the two backs is the fact that Vidal, in his limited touches, actually has the potential to break a long one. And Gus Edwards does not have that potential anymore. If this comes back, you can do, one of those memes on me when Gus Edwards breaks a 70-yarder, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Boy, that's a mighty fine-looking pup right there. What's that doggy's name?
This is Obi-Wan right here. He was a foster fail. We rescued him when he was already 5 years old. He was living out in the wilderness on his own for the first 5 years of his life, fostered him. He fell in love with us. We fell in love with him, and we've held on to him ever since. And he just does not like to leave my side.
Nice looking pup right there. That's what you got to do. You got to get them from the shelters, man. That's how you got to get them. But guys, if you're in the chat and you're watching this, hit the like button and fire off your questions. Those are the two things you can do. Hit the like button, fire off your questions. Got about 43 minutes until kickoff, about 10-ish minutes so left on the show. We're going to go through some SimLabs in a minute. A couple more questions here coming in. Season-long question. I have Anthony Richardson. I have Justin Herbert. Herbert going tonight. Who do I start, Anthony Richardson or Justin Herbert? It's a good question. What do you think?
So I don't think it's super binary, like one or the other. I think if you are looking at your lineup and saying, I need 15 to 20 points from my quarterback this week. Like, I need that. I can't afford an L at this position. I need safety. I would start Justin Herbert. If I'm looking at my opponent's lineup and going, oh, they're quite a bit better than mine is, I need, for what it's worth, I actually had a friend of mine ask me this exact question today, but he had 4 different options. It was Anthony Richardson, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. And my answer to him was, if you need a ceiling, you're looking for a guy who can get you 30 points to win you a week, it's Anthony Richardson with his legs. If you look at the RotoGrinders projections, you look at the Blitz projections, he projects the best of those options in both formats. Anthony Richardson is without a doubt the highest upside option, but you are worried about a potential bomb from him because he does have that in the equation. So I think he's got the lowest floor between Richardson and Herbert and of the entire group. So you need 15 to 20 points. You want that safety, go Herbert. You're looking at somebody who can win you the week or lose you the week, 10 points, 5 points, 30 points, 35 points. It's Anthony Richardson.
I agree. I think I'm going to lean towards Richardson there because of the upside. Herbert just, man, this isn't going to be a fast-paced game. I doubt he's going to be playing from behind, so he's got to be throwing in the 2-minute offense the whole second half. I think it's going to be there's a limitation on Herbert tonight, and Anthony Richardson has that rushing ability to where, man, he could crush it. So I'd lean towards Richardson too. Season-long Lutz versus Bass as a kicker. Lutz versus Bass.
I'll go Lutz. I love the kickers in this game. I think it's going to be a big, big kicker game. For what it's worth, if you're playing some NBA tonight, Şengün in, Tyree Eason out.
We got time on that, I think. We'll be out of here before then. Make some adjustments on that one. But let's keep the train rolling here. Are lineups tonight without a running back playable?
Absolutely.
I agree with that. You absolutely don't need a running back from this game if you don't want it. Nix or Herbert tonight playing. He's got McConkey at captain. Does he go Nix or does he go Herbert? McConkey at captain.
I would go Herbert, 1, because it correlates with McConkey. 2, because I think if you look at these two quarterbacks today, which one is more likely to siphon points off to the running backs? It's Bo Nix. I think Javonte Williams and Estime are more likely to have a big day than Eason and Eason. I'm in the NBA mode. Than Estime and Javonte Williams are more likely to have a bigger day than Vidal and Gus Edwards. So I'd rather go Herbert.
All right. Let's see. I guess another season-long question here: Mixon or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown.
Chase has been really good. Let's see. I don't see very many more questions. Butthole. I see you, man. We're going to get to the Plums play of the night. Give us about 5 more minutes here. Let's get to some SimLabs real quick. Let's SimLab some stuff up. They've updated, so we're good to rock and roll here. Let me punch in. Let me see some advanced settings here. Is anything you want to change tonight, or are we just going with some standard stuff?
We can bump upside up a little bit more as we typically would, but I think this is a slate where we don't have to worry about correlation at all. Things are going to be wonky. This is probably going to be low scoring. I think we can not worry too much about correlation, keep it at a large field setting, and see what we get.
Sounds good. Let's put in 100 lineups just to see what it returns. I'll get those lineups. I took the results range down a little bit to keep it a little bit more compacted. I want to see what kind of exposures we get here. Let me do this format. Exposures. The captain, okay. It's splitting between 2 guys mainly, Nix and McConkey. Is that kind of where your head is at too?
McConkey more so than Nix, although for what it's worth, I was building some McConkey lineups and I was having trouble finding ones that I actually liked and how they fit. As much as spending all the way up, just because I didn't actually feel like I needed a lot of salary. In a vacuum, I like McConkey more. I would go he or Sutton as my top two options at captain for like a single entry tournament setting if I'm not trying to get really crazy.
Usually not, a quarterback in captain guy, except for if that quarterback has running ability. And Nix does have that running ability, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I like those choices, though. I probably would have bumped up Sutton a little bit more and get that other big time wide receiver in there. Flexes, a lot of Herbert, a lot of Nix, McConkey, Sutton. Then we started getting into some wide receivers who are typically week in and week out crapshoots because neither, like you already mentioned it, neither one of these teams have like, oh, this is the definitive number two, and he's pretty rock solid, or he's pretty decent. They spread things around. Vele and Franklin and Mims for the Broncos. For the Chargers, they're giving us some stone smart. I get it. But Josh Palmer's in the mix, and Quinn Johnson's down there. But none of those guys really stand out. Your exposures on this, you're looking at this right here. Is there anything you bump up? Is there any one of those guys that you're saying, I want a little bit more Troy Franklin tonight or something like that?
It's the kickers, as not great as that sounds. It's the kickers for me. Will Lutz and Cameron Dicker. I want to get more and overweight on both of those guys today. I'm liking the mid-range build more than I'm liking the Stars and Scrubsy build. For what it's worth, if I'm playing Nix at captain, that's when I like the Stars and Scrubsy build because that's where the value is the cheap pass catchers for Denver. And so if I'm playing Lil Jordan Humphrey or Troy Franklin or Mims or Vele, I like doing it with Bo Nix at captain. But Sutton Nix is where I'm most likely to get most of my exposure for Denver. Herbert McConkey is where I'm most likely to get it for the Chargers. And then after that, my next favorite place to go is Dicker and Lutz, and then Javonte Williams and Estime.
Man, I think you just nailed the key to the slate. Maybe not. Maybe. But I'm sitting there saying, the number two wide receivers, they all stink, man. And well, sure, you don't have to play them then. Play the damn kickers. You're going to get a guaranteed floor out of your kickers. You may even get a little bit of ceiling. And I don't like the number two, number three, number four wide receivers for either one of these teams. It makes too much sense now. So I think that's a route that I'm going to take when we get off air and we get a little time to diddle with. We got about 5 minutes left. I think we're going to do some player props now. Let's turn to Splash Sports. If you don't know about Splash Sports, they're into the player prop field, right? They got this rolling on. If you haven't signed up for Splash Sports, turn off my alerts. Splash is still now. It's time. Use the promo code ROTO10. Okay, well, ROTO10 has, if you play $100 in quick picks, they're going to give you free $50 with the code. So get Roto code. They have a bunch of CFB contests actually in the lobby. There's survivors, there's money line, there's all kinds of good stuff in there. We're focusing on quick picks right here. So get in Splash Sports anyway. Point being, good thing. All right, let's look at some props tonight. I want to do a 3-teamer here. We got about 5 minutes left, maybe less than that. We'll do our Plums pick in a minute. But I want a 3-teamer here on quick picks with tonight's NFL. How are we starting it? I always like to correlate, so I want to keep that in mind here before we even start. If I see something where, man, I like the quarterback passing yards, I'm going to get some receiver passing yards to go with him or something along those lines. So I want a 3-teamer. Let's correlate this puppy up. Who's your first pick?
So my favorite option of anybody in terms of props on this slate is more than 5.5 receptions for Cortland Sutton. That's been the one constant in the Denver Broncos offense all season long. And no matter how much things switch up, no matter how little they score, no matter how few passing yards Bo Nix has, Cortland Sutton still gets his targets and gets his receptions.
I like that. Let me see. Let's just cycle through some stuff and see if anything catches our eye. Rushing yards, we don't necessarily. 28.5 for estimate. What do you? Like, I'm not going to put it in yes or no unless you tell me to, but what do you think about that? That's a number that could, like, he can get shut down, right? Like, that could be, it's one of those things. It's kind of a binary thing. If he gets carries, he's going to get there, but we don't even know if he's going to get enough carries to get there.
That's exactly it. That's a scary one because he's probably either going to get 9 yards or 48. You know, like it's going to be one of those two. And so Estime scares me. I might want to leave it alone. I don't know which of these running backs are going to get the yards, if any of them do. But what I do know is Javonte Williams will be the pass catcher of the two. And so I don't hate the idea of going more than 2.5 receptions for Javonte Williams. Receiving yards scares me just because we've seen how not dynamic he's looked. But if he's available for receptions, that's where I like to go Javonte Williams.
Oh, man. 14.5 yards for Javonte?
Like, he's probably going to get that, right? But couldn't you just see a scenario where he has 4 catches for 2 yards?
Yeah, you could for sure. But one thing that caught my eye over here, I was in the rushing yards and went back there. Herbert and Nix both run the ball pretty good. They try to run the ball, and they're both pretty effective at it. Is either one of those catch your eye? I mean, I really feel like what is 9.5 yards for Herbert? That's one good scramble for him. Like, I don't know, man. What do you no dice for you?
What scares me is last 2 games, 0 rushing yards, 3 rushing yards after he hurt himself a little bit.
Okay,
and it seems like he's trying to protect himself, get rid of the ball quickly. And I don't like typical Herbert, absolute smash. And now maybe he feels fine and is going to get back to it. But only 4 rush attempts in his last 2 games and 0 in the last one. It does worry me that he's just going, hey, I don't want to get hit right now, so I'm just letting go of the ball.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's go to field goals. You're on these kickers. I didn't even have kickers tonight. I don't even think we have them tonight. I don't know. Oh, we got Dicker and Lutz for kicking points. That's basically throwing in some field goals and some extra points. What's up? What do you think? What do you want? You want to ride the hot hand here? You like the kickers, man?
I'm down. I have in my underdog card tonight more than 1.5 field goals for both of these guys, so I have no issue going more than 7.5.
Who's your favorite?
Dicker would be my number 1.
Okay, I got 2 picks. You have another one for me?
McConkey yards would be probably my next favorite.
67 and a hook.
Yeah, that would be my only other one on the board today. I have both kickers. I have the Javonte Williams and Sutton receptions, and I have McConkey.
I like that. He moves around all over the place. That's pretty good. I don't mind that. If we went 20 on that'd get us 120. That feels pretty good. All right, let's take that down. Let's get a little 2-shot here, and let's talk about some plums. It's that time of the night. 30 minutes till kickoff. We need to know, TJ, who is your Feel It in the Plums play of the night?
I think I am not positive. If somebody has done this before me, then I apologize. But I think I will be the first to do this year.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, I know what you're going.
My Feel It in the Plums play. With my Plums, I need a little Dicker. And I'm going Cameron Dicker as my Feel It in the Plums play today. He's going to have 5 field goals, 2 for more than 50 yards.
I knew that was coming, but you know what? That might be the thing that wins a GPP. You never know. So, look, there's not a lot to love here in this game. There really isn't. Like, there's a lot of, we've already talked about the running backs kind of stink. The wide receiver 2, 3s, and 4s kind of stink. You know, tight end play isn't great. There's not a lot out there, and I don't want to give you McConkey. It's kind of an easy one. I really don't want to give you Sutton. That's kind of an easy one, or a quarterback. So I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to pick a wide receiver. Last time Broncos were on an island slate, I did pull out Marvin Mims. Okay, so I got that going for me. Maybe I have a little luck here. I'm not going Mims tonight. I'm going Devon Vele. I want a long one out of Devon Vele tonight. I think he's a solid wide receiver who's eventually going to grow into a number 2. So let's go Devon Vele. Feel It in the Plums play of the night. Guys, it's going to wrap it up. You got about 29 minutes to adjust your lineups. Do what you got to do with them. Let me see if we got any more questions before we get out of. Can we play Blake Watson?
I wouldn't. But I mean, if you're running 150 lineups today, maybe you throw in a Blake Watson.
Okay, maybe. But who's your favorite?
I did not hear of him until today.
Who's your favorite DK captain?
McConkey or Sutton.
Do you have a favorite outright winner in this game, Denver or the Chargers? Butthole wants to know.
I think Denver wins.
Yeah, I kind of think Denver too, but you never. It's going to be a good game. If we play the kickers this game, does that mean we can play the defenses too? You kind of alluded to that already, right?
You can, but I would rather not. I do have some lineups with that are very kicker, defense, running back focused, but I'm not huge on the defense today like I am the kickers.
Does Herbert run since Nix was in Oregon quarterback also? No, I don't think that's playing in. I don't think that's playing into him. But I think that's all the questions. I don't see anything more. One more for you for season long, just for the heck of it. Sutton, DJ Moore, or Bucky Irving this week? Lock in Sutton tonight. Wait for DJ Moore, or go with Bucky Irving Sunday night against the Cowboys.
I would go Bucky Irving in that spot.
Fair enough. All right. $8,900 on DraftKings, one player left. Who's your favorite for $8,900 or less?
Depends who the captain is. If, say, Herbert is the captain, I would go Quentin Johnson. Otherwise, I would go Javonte Williams.
Fair enough. Guys, we appreciate you tuning in. That's going to wrap it up for us. We'll be back on Monday with some more Monday Night NFL Showdown. This stuff is winding down quick, guys. We're already in week 15, 16? Gosh, I mean, we only got a couple more weeks left after this. Come back on Monday. It's always fun. It's always real. For TJ Zwarych, I was your host, Chop. Good luck in those GPPs, but we're out of here.